Did you guys know that Pokémon is a Japanese franchise? I know, right? Shocking! Who would have thought? Pokémon, which stands for Pocket Monsters, is actually a Japanese franchise. I mean, who would have thought? It's a crazy, mind-boggling revelation. I'm being sarcastic, obviously. Of course, I always knew that Pokemon is a Japanese franchise. And, I still do to this day. Now, why did I decided to open the episode with that snarky remark? Well, let's just say I had a bit of a situation. Now, oh no, I apparently I hatched an egg without opening one of my gifts. That's silly of me. Gotta be more careful next time. But hey, it's a Lunatone. Not shiny, but it's a Lunatone. Anyways, let's put this new egg in the incubator because it's going to be the fastest egg to hatch out of these ones. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. All of my eggs, Metagross gave me a candy. All of the eggs that I have right now in this game are 7-kilometer eggs. To maximum, well, except the one that I just got, but never mind that one. It's mainly to maximize my chances of hatching event Pokemon, specifically to the Enigma Week event, which is actually almost over. Kind of shocking how fast these events come and go. So anyways, yes, as I've mentioned up top, Pokemon is a Japanese franchise, clearly. Now, if you have been following my channel for a long time, well, specifically these videos, this one particular series of videos of Pokemon Go, which is where I drop most of the information about my life, most of the detail about my life actually happens on this show. These series of videos, I should say. And stupid Panseer. I hate it when these things show up in this game. For example, if you have been following these series of videos, you'd know that I'm not one of those people who hates the Unova monkeys like everyone else. Main problem is I hate them in this game. Because unlike this one specific Panseer, pretty much every time I encounter one of these things, they are a nightmare to try to catch. But anyways, that's one of the things that you would know if you have watched these videos. Additionally, if you have been watching these videos for a while, you know that obviously I'm a Pokemon fan. And I love to play Pokemon games. And I played almost all the Pokemon games on emulators. I played Red, Crystal, Emerald, Platinum, White and Black 2. Well, half of Black 2. All on an emulator on my tablet. Now, since emulators for 3DS games on a mobile device is much more tricky and challenging, I wasn't able to play the Gen 6 or the Alola games on my tablet. So I was faced with a couple of options that neither of the solutions seemed desirable. I could either try to fight it and hopefully try to get myself an emulator on this phone, which I did try. It didn't really work out as well. I could have just skipped those games altogether. I could have watched Let's Plays on YouTube rather than play it for myself. But the option that seemed the most favorable even though I wasn't really happy with the decision, but it was the best possible option, was to actually buy a Nintendo 3DS and play those games legitimately. Problem is, I went to several stores in the city. None of them were selling it. I had one store that said that they do sometimes get these things in stock for special occasions, but it hasn't happened in a long time, and it'll be pretty much a waste of time to try to wait for these games to go back in stock. Gotta catch a Beldum, gotta feed my new shiny. Anyway, so the only possible option after that was to simply to buy one online, which I did, and I ordered it, and it actually arrived much faster than I thought it would. I thought it would be at least early September. It is now mid-August, and it's already here. I got it, and yesterday I talked to the delivery man who sent it to my mom's house. For some reason, he must have got the address wrong, but today I went over to my mom's office to pick it up. And when I finally got back home and opened it, I went through the whole setup thing, and that was when I made the shocking revelation that led to the way I opened this episode. The Nintendo 3DS that I got is in Japanese. Alright? Which makes sense because, spoiler alert, Pokémon and the company that makes Pokémon Game Freak, is owned by Nintendo, which is a Japanese company. And Nintendo, who makes such gaming consoles like the Nintendo 3DS, for example, they are Japanese primarily. So, yeah. Obviously, their products are Japanese. The company is Japanese, so it makes sense that the Nintendo 3DS that I bought would be in Japanese. And here's the thing. I can't change the language settings on this device. It's almost like, well, not almost like, but where did I step? Oh, I thought I stepped on something. Anyways, it's basically as if I bought. It's almost like it's like I traveled to Japan and bought a Japanese device in a Japanese store. A product that was never intended for international shipping. Therefore, its base settings are all in Japanese. Even the instruction manual is all in Japanese. And there's literally no way, as far as the device goes, there's literally no way to change the language settings. Because, most cases, it's pretty easy. Even if you get a device that's in a language you don't understand, figuring out how to change the language settings, it's a piece of cake. You just click the icon with the wrench and the gear on it. Obviously, in all languages, that means settings. You go to language settings. That's a little complicated to find, but eventually you can find it. I mean, you do have limited options after all. But you go to language settings, and you just pick a language, and all the languages just show up, and you just pick the language that suits you best. Now, with this being a Japanese device, oops, sorry, Centric, not gonna catch you today. Gotta catch this one. With this being a Japanese console intended for Japanese market, there is no language settings in the console settings, which means the console will always be default Japanese, no matter what I do. So there's literally no way to change the language settings. Now, I'm gonna say it right here. I have no plans to learn a new language just to play this, just to learn how to figure out this console. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to learn Japanese, which I don't care what anyone says, it's not a simple language, to me at least. I'm not going to learn Japanese just to figure out how to play a game. It's ridiculous. If I was planning to go live in Japan, which, I gotta be honest, is not a bad idea. Japan's a wonderful country. I love Japan. But I have no plans to live in Japan anytime soon. Maybe 10 years in the future, I don't know. But I'm not even planning to go visit Japan. I can't now because of the pandemic, but I definitely want to go visit Japan at some point. However, right now, with no plans to go and visit Japan anytime soon, no plans to go live in Japan, all I want is to freaking play a Pokémon game in my country on a console that I purchased with my own money. I have no intention, nobody's challenging this Deoxys, I pity. I have no intention of learning Japanese for the sole purpose of playing a Nintendo 3DS, a console that's already outdated. I already have a Nintendo Switch, which is the next generation console to the Nintendo 3DS, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two the Nintendo Switch will be outdated, because these consoles have a very short shelf life. I believe the Nintendo Switch came out in 2017, maybe even 16. I don't know. Haven't looked that up before starting this video. But yeah, that was 3 years ago, and I believe the Nintendo 3DS was first released in 2012, I think, which is 8 years ago. So follow the logic of the Switch being in 2017, that's about 5 years. So yeah, it took 5 years for Nintendo to oops, sorry tree. It took about 5 years for Nintendo to switch, see what I did there, from the 3DS to the Nintendo Switch, which in my opinion is a miles better, is a vastly superior console. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's just because I I'm used to a Nintendo Switch right by now, and I've never actually played a 3DS other than just the few minutes of frustratingly trying to figure out how this thing works without even understanding the language of that device. Maybe it's because the Switch is much more comfortable to hold. Maybe it's because of the bigger screen, the better graphics, better games, in my opinion, better controllers. You don't have to use that stupid pen, and well, technically you don't have to use the pen on the Nintendo 3DS, but I did try to work the Nintendo 3DS without a pen, and it was a nightmare because the screen is even smaller than this. The touch screen, that is. So yeah, I am not a fan of the Nintendo 3DS, and I've said that in the past. On this show, as a matter of fact, on these series of videos, I've said more than once how I am not a fan of the design of the Nintendo 3DS, or the Nintendo DS, for that matter. That console is simply not for me, but, I mean, this thing's not for me either. I'm still using it. I'm still playing this game on a smartphone. I still have an old, what we call dumb phone, for phone calls and text messages, but I'm still casually using this from time to time. So if I can learn how to work this thing, I can figure out how to work a Nintendo 3DS. However, that's not the issue right now, is it? The issue right now is, what do I do with my existing 3DS that is in Japanese? Well, after exhausting all of my options and realizing that, as I've mentioned, the default language is Japanese, the default region is Japan. There's no possible chance of changing the region. You can only change the city in which you live in, apparently. Sorry. But there is but one hope for me. I did manage to find one video on YouTube that explained how to change the language settings on a device like that. Now, it's about 20 minutes long, and I'm not even joking on that, and it's very complicated. First of all, you have to open up the device itself and take out the SD card, put it into your computer, and download several things from very specific links. It's a very long and grueling process, but it's the only chance I got right now to change the language. And I mean, I already put in the money to buying this console. I have no plans at all to give up on it just because I can't change the language. I mean, it's a new console. It's working in perfect shape, as far as I can tell. Even though I have no idea what the device itself is saying. But yeah, there's no reason for me to give up on this machine. It's a brand new console. Literally the only problem with it is that I can't understand what it says, which is something that I can work around. So, oh, and another problem, apparently I can't do this thing with the the SD card, because apparently my laptop, this new superior device is so far away in advance that it doesn't have an SD card port, which frustrates the hell out of me. So, and I can't do it on my tablet either because it only has a micro SD card. So here's the thing. Tomorrow my mom is coming over to my house. We've got some things to do. Mainly, oh, so many Starus. One of these has got to be shiny, right? I mean, just makes sense, right? So, as I was saying, tomorrow my mom is coming over to my house. We've got some things to do, primarily to clean up the house, and we gotta wash out everything that Sandy left behind, because the floor is still covered with blood stains from when she scratched herself in the face, and she was bleeding out of her mouth. And yeah, the whole floor is just completely full of blood stains. And we gotta find some things that used to belong to her, things we need to throw out, because for example, her towel that I used it to dry her out whenever I gave her a bath or something. That's gotta go too, because the towel itself is in a horrible shape. I mean, it's dirty because of all the times I had to use it on Sandy, and it's full of holes, and it's an old towel, so it's gotta go regardless. And yeah, we also want to have some time to work on my layout, my gaming layout for my gaming videos. It looks good, but I mean, I just think it can look better. So, and my mom's a Photoshop expert, so we want to sit down and try to see if we can perfect that layout a little bit. So yeah, we've got some time tomorrow. She took the whole day off. She was supposed to do something else tomorrow, but that was canceled, so she's coming over to my house. And I asked her if she could bring her old laptop, which I believe does have a USB port. Not a USB port, of course it has a USB port, an SD port. So we can use that to do whatever I need to do. Now, obviously there's no danger of any viruses, because even if the software that is meant to help me with changing the language on the 3DS, that laptop is, even if that software is already risky and has a high risk of viruses, it's an old laptop. It's got at the very least 10 years, I think. Not 10 or 9, I don't remember, but so if it is risky, then I guess it's okay for it to happen to that laptop, because like I said, it's an old laptop and it's barely even working. So there's nothing that a virus can do to this computer at its current state. Don't you just hate people who put the music on speakers in their cars at full volume, like they own the place? Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow. Also, another minor problem, really just a minor nitpick. The charger, because it also came with the product itself, the charger that came with the device. itself, it's incompatible with the charging stations at my apartment. This whole country, as a matter of fact, because it's, as I was saying, it's a Japanese product built for Japanese consumers who live in Japanese homes, and their what's the word I'm looking for? Ports, I guess that's the word. That's the word to use. The electrical ports in Japan are significantly different from electrical ports in this country. So as a result, I can't charge the device. Again, that's a minor nitpick. That's nothing to be too hysterical about, because I can just go to any hardware store and get an adapter. That's not a big problem. And tomorrow we've got some things to do anyway. We got some things to pick up in the city, so it'll be easier. It's not that big of a problem. You just buy an adapter, and I can charge the device with no problem. But again, the main issue is the language. Now, again, the last resort is to learn Japanese, but again, it's the least favorite option out of all of my options. Earlier, when I went for actually purchasing a 3DS for myself, that was the most desirable option out of a list of undesirable options. Right now, learning Japanese in order to figure out how to operate that machine, that device I should say, sorry, is the least desirable option out of a list of 2 options, I should say. So yeah, that's I mean, you can pretty much tell that I'm upset about this. All right, I'm upset, and whether or not I should be upset is a totally valid question. Should I be upset about this? Even though it's one of those rare situations where nobody's done anything wrong in particular. I mean, the site itself, the seller, I bought it on eBay because I don't think there's any other place I could have bought it. But I bought it on eBay. It was brand new, straight from the manufacturer. I don't even know if they're still manufacturing these things, but it was brand new, straight from the manufacturer. Oh shoot, gotta get rid of some Pokémon. But it was in a sealed box, never been opened. Gotta get rid of the ones that I can't evolve, and the ones I can't evolve, I'll just figure it out later. But anyways, I checked it out, and to the best of my knowledge, the seller didn't even specify the product's language. It didn't really specify that its default position is Japanese. So I had no way of knowing about that. Should the seller specify this sort of stuff? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a seller on eBay. I don't know how these things work. There's the shiny I caught yesterday. There's the unknown, and check this out. Something very very funny. Where was it? Look at this. This is a shadow Magikarp. Doesn't it look silly? Look how stupid this fish looks. With its angry red eyes, and it's a freaking Magikarp. Give me a break. The reason why I saved it is because I want to shadow Gyarados, but that's beside the point. It came from me on a Team Go Rocket balloon a couple of days ago, where the balloon itself, the guy in the balloon said these waters are treacherous, and which automatically means that it's the water type specialist, and which was kind of odd to me, but because the water type specialist from Team Rocket is always a woman, so I was shocked that it was a man for once, and all he had were 3 shadow magic cards, one after the other. I thought it was funny, and that's why I wanted to show it to you guys. Anyways, so yeah, to the best of my knowledge, the seller didn't specify the language of the device. I don't even think he thought the language mattered too much. So maybe that's why he didn't specify. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really think there's anyone to blame in a situation like this. So that's why I'm trying to contain myself and, you know, not be too particularly upset. But it's still annoying. Still an annoying situation that I wish I could have avoided. But anyways, I just wanted to share this thing and get that off my chest. One final thing I wanted to go over in this episode. I caught this Bronzor a while ago and completely forgot about it, but now I can evolve it. It's shiny, obviously, as you've noticed, and here we are with the shiny Bronzong. So at least we got something positive in this episode, because I didn't find another shiny this whole episode, and really the only thing special about this episode was just me ranting about a product that I got and I wasn't satisfied with. So yeah, I mean, this episode was very important to me. I really needed to vent and vent my anger and just pour my heart out. And some people use journals. Some people go with the Dear Diary type of approach. I am not one of those people. I never have been. I'm one of those people that just needs to talk about my problems. And if even if no one watches this video, I'm glad that I made it, because it's just something that I really needed to talk about, and now I feel so much better after talking about this. So yeah, I think it's a good enough time to end this video. Now, the problem is, I don't know whether I should end this video, because I've been dying for another shiny reaction on screen, on camera that is. Yesterday, 3 seconds after I turned off the camera, I found a shiny Beldum. And I mean, sure, it happens, but I wish I could have captured my my reaction and my excitement for catching a Beldum, because it's a shiny that I really wanted to catch, and it's a shiny that I really like. It's one of the best looking shinies in the game. But yeah, I mean, if it happens again and I can't find a shiny on screen until I turn off the game, I'm not even sure cast form can be shiny in this game, but clicked on it anyway. So yeah, this was just my frustrated rant regarding my Nintendo 3DS. How long have I been boring you guys? 36 minutes. Yeah, seems appropriate, I suppose. Not the next Pokemon that appears isn't going to be shiny. Well, I guess Spinarak can't be shiny in this game anyways, I think. So, yeah. There is no reason for me to keep going, so, I'll end this video here. Things are gonna get better, I promise. I hope that tomorrow, when I'll decide to do this episode, I'll be in a much better mood. So, if you have been watching all the way to the end, I thank you very much for your patience and indulgence. But now it's time to go. Goodbye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Hello again, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed this video, because I really enjoyed making it. So, if you like what you've seen here, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content like this. So, until next time, guys, I'll see you guys next time.